What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Rage Traders NRL Supercoach podcast. Wolfie here. Thanks for joining in. I've got an absolute banger for you today. I've been going through all the numbers, everything you can think of. I have been going in and looking at only the 2RFs, the pods that can help you excel during this emergency period of David Fifita hamstring injury, and of course Joe Chan, a very high break even that a lot of people are getting rid of, and understandably so. Now, before we get into this video, and I'm going to show all the stats and everything on the screen, so don't worry, you're not just going to be looking at my face the whole video. Before we get into the video, if you could like, subscribe, comment on YouTube, and if you're listening on Apple and Spotify podcasts, appreciate a 5-star review. It really does help. So yeah, thank you so much for that. And of course, if you do want to join the Discord, that is going to be in the description below on the YouTube description, and just click that link. Come on in. There's about 50 of us in there or so, and it's been really fun, and it's growing slowly each week. So thanks for that. Let's get straight into it. All right, so I'll just let you know quickly how I've sort of laid out this video, or just sort of like the 2RFs. I've got 8 pods in there at the moment, but 11 in total. Now, the other 3 are essentially a watch list pods. So people that I'm not like 100% like, oh, this could intrigue me and I might bring them into my team. More like there could be a little sneaky suspicion that they could start picking up, and we might want to start looking at them. So first and foremost, I haven't included Jacob Preston and Hudson Young. Both, one was at, Hudson Young was about 9.8%. Jacob Preston was at 10%. I really wanted to focus on lower ones, and also people are trading in for Preston this week, so that's likely going to go past the 10% mark. So I didn't want to include them too. But if you did want to go there, I mean, I personally am not, because they're Origin players. But again, 2 fine picks if you wanted to go there, especially a lot of people going to Preston this week. All right, let's start. We'll switch scenes here, and let's talk about Kai Pearce-Paul. Absolutely rolling at the moment with the West Tigers. The team is on fire. Average base of 54. This guy is popping up with $737,900, a 6.9% ownership, and a break even of 52. We can see in his scores here, he's popping out a 98, a 61, a 90, 120, and 69. Now, similar to his Newcastle days when they had a bit of an average game, or he had a bit of an average game, he'd get around that 60 mark. But what you're seeing here is when things are rolling, or when they're scoring a bit, he's part of it, and he's getting above that 90 mark. And that's why he's been such a hot sort of topic at the moment. He's offloading. They're going to the right a lot on the West Tigers, which is also a big plus. Kind of like nearly as much as what Panthers go to the left. Like Macassini, Laulili, that side just barely see the ball sometimes, and everything just goes through like KPP, Taruva, Patrick Herbert now, and Dewey obviously likes playing to the right. So that is a big plus for KPP as well. I think he's a massive target. But again, we also have to consider their draw being Broncos at home, Canberra at home. Great, West Tigers are awesome at home, but that is a bit of some tougher competition here and there. They then have Sharks away and Melbourne away, into Manly at home, into the bye, and which is like kind of the Origin bye period. So take that as you will. Again, he is a big tackler. He's a base beast, so you don't really need to worry about that too much, but just wanted to inform you of the draw that's coming up. So number 1, Kai Pearce-Paul. Next, someone who's not really talked about a lot, but I'll be honest with you. I watched the Roosters game last week against the Sharks, and this was probably the most impressive game for Angus Crichton. $556,300, 6.5% ownership with the break-even of 67. Now, out of all the pods I have, I'm going to say he's one of these, out of all the 8, he's like towards the bottom, okay? There's no doubt in saying that. He's plugged away and he's got his 50 plus each game. I just think the way I saw him last week, it was a bit of a different Angus. Although his points didn't represent that, getting only 61 points, the base was up to 51, which was his highest base of the round. He just looked a lot more involved and ran a lot more, in my opinion, just ran a bit more aggressively, like that old Angus Crichton we were sort of hoping for. And the run is absolutely beautiful for the Roosters. Newcastle at home, St. George away, Broncos at home, Gold Coast at home, North Queensland at home. If you're an Angus Crichton owner, you're definitely holding, in my opinion. And if you're someone that's looking at potting up, this could be the guy, especially with that run. Obviously, they go into then round 12 being the bye for Origin. So maybe you could have him for like the next 5-ish rounds and then move him along, or hold him if you want. But I thought he had a bit of merit to him because we know what he's capable of. I mean, 2024, he averaged 78. 2025, he averaged 62. 2026, he's now averaging 56. There is a bit of a decline there, but I think the Roosters are also finding their flow. And to come back from 16-0 against the Sharks is absolutely massive. And I think they could be a very, very scary team coming into these next 5 games. And I think, in my opinion, they are going to win at 3 or 4 of these games, I think. So, yeah, it's going to be really good. Angus Crichton, again, break even of 67, 6.5% ownership at $556,300. Okay, let's talk about someone that's been a bit underwhelming, but when they are running hot and the team is running hot, he generally will get a big score, and that's Haumole Olakau'atu. Now, $695,200, 5.2% ownership with a break even of 44. The only thing that is interesting is last week against St. George, where it was a very high scoring game, he only put on 55 points. However, a 46 base, he's gone 73, 64, 61, 128 points against Dolphins into a 55. He plays the full 80, we know that. The base is there around 40-ish. His average base is 46, I should say. We know that he is very similar to like some other players that, look, if he doesn't get attacking stats, he's most probably going to get around the 50, 60 mark. And that's why I like KPP a lot, because when he doesn't get attacking stats, it usually will be around that 65 mark. But with Olakau'atu, there's a difference. He can just explode literally for a 140. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, they have the North Queensland Cowboys and Parramatta. That Parramatta game's at home. He could absolutely get a 150 this game on the right edge of Manly and left edge of Parramatta. Then they have Penrith away, Broncos at home, West Tigers away, Gold Coast at home, Sharks away, South at home. So not the easiest and not the worst of draws. It's a bit of up and down here and there. But if you're looking for a 2RF that can absolutely explode and go 100 plus in a game where Manly are clicking, I think Haumole could be your guy. Now, is he my favorite out of everyone? Definitely not. I'll let you know who my favorites are at the end of the video, but I did think he was someone we flagged. The tough thing about him is, I guess, would you rather get KPP for an extra 40-ish $1,000, or would you rather take a gamble? Now, the thing is that a lot of people are going to Kai Pearce-Paul or trying to go there, so he will be more of a go-to pick, maybe if KPP goes very well again, and Olakau'atu is just going to sit in the back and be more of a pod. So take that as you will. But if we're talking about 2RF pods and we're talking about 2RFs that can score very well, I have to mention Olakau'atu. All right, next, someone who's really surprised me this season, and I'll be honest, didn't expect them to be so consistent in a very, very bad team, Luciano Leilua. $611,100, 3.1% ownership with a break even of 20. Now, against the Bulldogs, first game, he went 52 points in 69 minutes. He's now gone 62 points in 67 minutes, 90 points in 62 minutes. Now, because of the injuries, he's gone up to 80 minutes in the last 3 games, getting a 58, an 81, and 99. The one thing I'll flag here, well, there's 2 things. There's a very good sign and then a very bad sign. The one good thing is that the Dragons have been so awful, and he's been just basically putting out these type of points with a 56 average in base. That is really, really good. Now, the thing is, they are absolutely enveloped with injuries at the moment. That could he possibly go down in minutes back to 65-ish? Could he even go lower to 60, 55? And, you know, if Shane Flanagan stays the coach, maybe he's like, look, maybe Leilua takes a bit of minutes. I don't know, but there's definitely a chance his minutes come down. Now, they do have South Sydney away, into Roosters at home, into a bye. That's the only thing I will flag, but you could easily look at bringing him on at some point. I just think you maybe should have targeted him if you were going to in round 3 when it was Parramatta, Gold Coast, North Queensland, when a lot of people were targeting Val Holmes and Jaden Sewer and type of things, especially Val Holmes. And the funny thing is that, well, not funny because I know a lot of you may have Val Holmes, but the ironic thing is that out of everyone, like Sewer and Val Holmes have been very mediocre. Luciano Leilua has actually been the consistent one, which is something I didn't expect. And, there was a lot of talk. He's lost 10, 15 kilos. Then I try not to fall for those type of headlines, but it actually has proven to be very beneficial for him and Supercoach owners. So flagging that, again, I wouldn't go there now, but I know people that are wanting to go him, that own him. And if he's putting up these type of scores against teams that like Bulldogs and Melbourne, he's getting you a flat 60. If they can just turn it around a tiny bit, St. George, maybe he'll see a bit more of it. But completely up to you. Luciano Leilua for the St. George Dragons. All right. Who is currently in my team? Well, he's $594,900. He has a 2.1% ownership with a break even of 6. Now, with the injury of David Fifita, I've now inserted into my team a pod called Tallis Duncan. Now, I will... Oh, did I not bring him up? Oh, sorry. Thought I wasn't organized. Yes, I am. All right, so Tallis Duncan. Now, the big thing here, and I'm trying not to let this sway me too much, is where does he go in the team? Is it going to be left center? Is it going to be David Fifita's position? Is it going to be Fifita's position then move to center? I don't know, but I think he's starting to come into that territory where he's getting really good. The last 2 games against Canberra, he went 87 points in 80 minutes. He then went 101 points in against Bulldogs in 80. He's bottomed out, and I'm like, mate, St. George at home into Melbourne away, Newcastle away, Sharks at home, Dolphins at home, North Queensland away. I mean, this guy is a really good player. If you haven't played Supercoach before, let me just tell you something. I'm going to go find it now, but this guy went on an absolute tear last season towards the end of the season. And if you had him, you were literally like potting so crazy. He went... Let me read you some of his scores towards the back end of last season. So obviously Souths were much worse last season, but he went 44, 70, 113, 63, 134, 105. He then went 52, 49, 66, 63, 105, 115. Now, what I like about him is obviously Souths are way better this season. Like, obviously so much better. So on top of that, he's getting more attacking opportunities. His base is at a 40 average, so not as high as some of the other 2RFs, but I just love what he offers. And with the Fifita injury, I think it's more of a shoe-in, and I like the security more of it. I just think he's a flat 80-minute player. The only thing is I'm a bit scared of, and I don't know if this is going to impact it a lot. Maybe someone in the comments can let me know. Ewan Aitken, he's subject to a fitness test. How much does that impact Tallis Duncan? That's the only thing. Do we think he's still going to get the full 80? I hope so, because I think he deserves it. Again, that's all that I'm worried about. But that's Tallis Duncan, $594,900, a 2.1% ownership with a break even of 6. Now, someone very random that you might not think I'd mention, to me, I call him Mr. Consistent, and that's Jack Williams. $577,400, 1.8% ownership with a break even of 54. This guy has gone 59 points, 58 points, 66 points, 52, 64, 71. Now, let's not forget what team this guy plays for. Parramatta Eels. Against the Gold Coast Titans, he got a 71. Now, I'm not saying that this guy is someone that you have to really look at over the others, because I do think there are some more secure, stronger ones because they're in better teams. But if if Eels can just get through this Bulldogs game, it's going to be rough. They have Manly, New Zealand, North Queensland, Melbourne bye. Newcastle, Bulldogs, Canberra. I mean, Jack Williams is a bit of a bulletproof player, as we can see here. And last week, he got 80 minutes. It was his first 80-minute game second 80-minute game of the season. And the first 80-minute game he had of the season was against Melbourne Storm, where he got 59 points, and they got absolutely walloped that game. So it's if you want someone that's a safe 60, Jack Williams is your guy. He really is. All right. Next one. Let's get to him. Now, everyone's talking about Jacob Preston, but nobody's talking about Viliami Kikau. Now, this guy, we know he's kind of like Olakau'atu, can be up and down a bit, but when he goes up, it's very, very nice. Now, $590,500, 2.5% ownership with a break-even of 79. The break-even of 79, it's a bit high. However, they are against Parramatta. He could explode here for an easy 90 plus where the break-even doesn't matter. And again, he scores a 79 against Penrith where they just got a massive win and the form is looking to be back. Now, the one thing about Viliami Kikau is we know his base is generally low. However, this season he's averaging a base of 40. That is pretty good. You'll live with that for someone that has high attacking upside. Again, he started the season with a 98. He then goes into a 50, a 66. The problem with Viliami Kikau is when things don't go his way or the Dogs' way, he then gets scores of like 35 against Souths. But you know what he is like as a player. You know that you can kind of like expect the lows. He's kind of like the Braden Trindles and the Britton Nickeras where you can get the 30, 40s, but all of a sudden you get an 80, 90, 100, 110. So I had to mention him. He's a great player. He can be, when he's on, he's just unstoppable and you can't tackle him. But yeah, Viliami Kikau, $590,500, 2.5% ownership, break even of 79. All right, let's talk about my last pod from these 8, and that is Su'a Wong. Now, the one thing I will flag with Su'a Wong is that obviously there's just a lot of contention in the team with the position. You know, Rudley's back, the Butcher's like not scenario, but Butcher's there. There's just so many kind of like meaty forwards that can eat into him. I really love him in an 80-minute slot. I think he deserves it. He's fit enough for it. And every time I've seen him come on, he injects and he impacts. Now, last week, he played for 67 minutes, getting 69 points. Now, he is at $570,800. So cheaper than Tallis Duncan, 0.9% ownership with a break-even of 40. Now, I'll remind you again of the Roosters draw. It's Newcastle at home, St. George away, Broncos at home, Gold Coast at home, North Queensland at home. Now, the one thing I will say is maybe don't load up too much on the Roosters players. Like for me, I have Reece Robson and Tedesco now. If I went Wong, I'm most probably overloading and that buy would hurt me a bit. However, I just think I really have to flag him. An average base of 55. Sometimes he doesn't get the full 80, but like against Manly, 77 points in 80 minutes, 63 points in 80 minutes. I think he's close to a really big year. Whether it's this year, I don't know, but I had to mention him. All right, so they're my 8 pods in the 2RF position that I think you should closely look at. Now, I have 3 more where I just have them on a watch list. Now, all of these guys are under $450,000. So let's start with the first one. Kurt Capewell, $440,100, 1.2% ownership, a break-even of 19. You don't go him now. Just waiting to see how he looks after his injury. He's only played 1 game this season for 80 points, base of 37 in 80 minutes. Now, the thing is here is that 1, Warriors are in really good form this season. This is the best season they've had in a long time. 2, you just want to wait until the second game, see what he scores. They are versing the Titans this week, so that is going to play into his favor as well. And then they have Dolphins Parramatta. So he could easily be someone that you gain some money off. Now, again, The ownership is super low. The break even is still low. Remember, the 80-point score is going to be the first score that drops out of his rolling 3 average scores. So don't get all hyped on up on that, but just watch him closely this week. See how he looks, especially after the injury, and then go from there. Next one I have, just someone that, again, we're going to keep on a watch, is Max Plath, $472,100. Has dual position for memory in the hooker position. Let me just double check that here, because that is actually something you could look at. Yeah, so 2RF hooker, $472,100. He has an ownership of 0.4% ownership, break even of 53. Now, what I am just looking at here is, one, if Reece Robson for me does actually get picked for Origin, who could be a replacement? Now, there's no doubt in my mind that Plath has had a very slowish start to the season, a 42, a 36, a 55, and a 46. None of these games have been in 80 minutes. The first one, he got 42 points in 42 minutes. Then he got 36 points in 61 minutes, a 55-pointer for 74 minutes, and 46-pointer for 64. The base is 44, which is nice. We know what he's capable of, though. Plath is just, well, last season he had some really good games. So he had an 83 in the first round last season. He had a couple of 70-plus games. He got injured. So it was an injury-riddled season for him. His average base was 41 last season. But I think there could be something there, but I just need to see it first. And that's why he's on the watch list. So just keep him there, keep him tabbed, and see how it looks. Now, the biggest one right now here is a cheapie. Someone mentioned to me this to me in the live chat today, and that is Thomas Cant. Now, the reason being is that Dylan Lucas now has an injury. I'm not sure how long he's out for. I think it's like 4 to 5 weeks. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But Thomas Cant, when he gets the minutes, he can fly. Now, you can see here in 2026, this season, he's only been getting 24 minutes, 22 minutes, 19 minutes, and 40 minutes. Now, he generally matches his minutes with his base. But if we go to 2025, and let me just mention, $299,700, 0.2% ownership with a break even of 50. But if we go to Cant in 2025, where he did get some games with extra minutes, 80 minutes for 70 base in 88 for 88 points. He then had 62 points in 80 minutes for 47 base. Like, as long as he's getting the minutes, he generally will make money. And because he's so cheap, this could be someone that we have Couchman, Lasardi, Thomas Cant in as these little reserves that just plow away and make us huge, huge money. So this was a great shout out from whoever it was in the chat. But I had to flag this. There's a little cheapie for you that could be moving very, very quickly. And the thing is that he's also had his 3 games this season. So if he does come out and drop like a nice-ish score, he'll make a bit of money, but maybe you can wait 1 week on it, see what it's looking like, because he still has that break even of 50. That's it, guys. 8 pods. 11 in total, 8 major pods, 3 mini pods. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for listening on the podcast as well. Hope maybe I've helped you make a decision or whatever. Thanks for listening and watching, guys. Thanks for the support as always. And good luck. We'll have a Q&A video out either before this or after this. But good luck in round 7. Come on, Tedesco, captain. You can do it. Peace.